I'm David Esrati. I'm running for Congress, Ohio 10. I really didn't want to be talking about gun control again, but yesterday we had another mass shooting in an elementary school. And I'm sorry, that's not okay. And hopes and prayers, thoughts and prayers, and saying, well, the shooter was obviously mentally ill is not the problem. I'll show you what the problem is. One of these. This was my friend when I was in the Army, a well-regulated militia, as the Second Amendment says. Remember, it has two parts. It says a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And to be clear, they were writing about muskets and flintlocks. They weren't talking about anything like this. And again, this is a weapon of war. Had George Washington just had 10 of these, the British would have been done in about a week. Period. End of story. The amount of firepower in one of these and the damage the bullets do. The bullets for this weapon are designed to enter a body and bounce around inside and turn it to shreds, making it very hard for doctors to save people. It was intentional. It's a weapon of war. It's not sport. It's not hunting. The NRA can take it and fuck themselves. The NRA is not all of us in America. The NRA seems to think all of us need to walk around with a gun all the time so that we can be safe, when in fact, it proves that access to weapons kills Americans. Now, ever heard of a thing called a jart or a lawn dart? They were fun games that we had when I was a kid in the 60s and early 70s until 3 kids died by getting impaled by one. And what did we do? We banned jarts. Just like that. Boom! 3 kids dead. Banned jarts. Do you remember when there was a Tylenol poisoning? One guy put some poison in some Tylenol in one grocery store. They took the Tylenol off all the grocery store shelves all across the country. Now we got the safety caps and the seals and everything else because, oh my God, somebody could tamper with your Tylenol. Or, I don't know, there was a guy named Richard Reed who had a shoe bomb, supposedly, that was going to blow up an airplane. A shoe bomb. So now we have to take our shoes off at the airport. Oh, and we're not getting audio. Are we getting audio now? Did we list everything up to now? So I'm going to start all over again. I've got a new guy running the soundboard today because my other guy called in. So I'm David Esrati. I am a candidate for Congress, Ohio 10. I am the Democrat running against Mike Turner, who has an A rating from the NRA. And I hope to have an F, and I will wear that F very proudly. Because once again, here I am talking about gun control. I didn't want to talk about gun control today, but there are a whole bunch of dead kids in Texas because of one of these. One of these. As I've said, this is a weapon of war. This is not a sporting weapon. This is a weapon designed to shoot around that goes into your body and bounces around and turns your guts into hamburger. It's very hard for emergency room physicians to take care of you and save you when you've been hit with one of these and it's entered the chest cavity. If, as I said before, George Washington had just 10 of these, he would have had the British out in no time. Remember, when the Second Amendment was written, they had flintlocks. You know, drop a ball down, tamp black powder rifles, maximum fire speed, maybe a shot a minute, maybe 2 if you're really good, and an effective range, maybe 20, 30 feet. After that, So reminding you, it says a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That is not what we have. That 18-year-old that went and bought the AR platform weapons, as they're calling them, He wasn't part of any well-regulated militia. He'd never been in a militia in his life. He was a cold-blooded murderer who wanted to kill as many people as possible, and he posted as such before he did it. Shooting kids in school, yeah, he's mentally ill, some Greg Abbott says. Well, if mental illness is the problem, why don't we have universal health care, including mental health care, Greg? I watched Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, basketball coach, basketball player, champion. What did he do in his press conference? He said, we're going to play basketball tonight, but that really doesn't matter. Because a bunch of kids got shot at school. How many times are we going to do this, people? Are you going to keep voting for idiots like Mike Turner who think that owning one of these makes you free and safe? Because it obviously doesn't. And your kids aren't going to be able to defend themselves in school, no matter how many school resource officers you have or anything else. You don't want to have to pack everywhere you go. We don't want to have the Wild West. We want to have a safe and free nation. That's going to keep you free. It's going to keep you secure because weapons like this belong in an armory. Now, why does somebody as anti-gun as me have one of these to pull out as a prop? I'm sure some of you thought, oh, that hypocrite, he's got an AR and he's out there talking about, putting them in armories and taking them away from people. Well, the reason I have it is because a good friend of mine, an Army medic from the Gulf War, can't have his toys in his house while he's suicidal. So he and his wife agreed that maybe I should be the caretaker. So I whip it out as a prop. I've had this gun now for almost 2 years. He hasn't needed it. I haven't needed it. But it's safer here than it was in his house. Think about if it had been your kids, or your grandkids, or your neighbor's kids. How would you feel today? When they had the shooting in the Oregon district, I knew people that were terrified, hiding behind things, worrying if they were going to get home that night. And 9 people didn't. Because again, this is a weapon of war. This does not belong in the hands of anybody who is not in a well-regulated militia. And by the way, if you have any questions or comments and you want feedback directly, we've got it set up today where I can see it, hopefully, and respond. So nobody has done that yet, but we can do it in real time if somebody wants to try. The reason I do these is because I think it's important for a congressman to make himself accessible to every voter in his district every single day and tell them what he did in Congress that day and what he thought about and the questions and have a discussion. And I'm seeing my first comment from Manny G, who says, keep up these daily chats. You really need to showcase on some larger platforms, Majority Report or Rational National, even David Pakman come to mind. Well, I'm going to have to look all those up because I am not a political junkie. I am a small businessman who wants to make it easier for small businesses to survive in this country and to thrive. There are all kinds of things we can do if we want to get more efficient. But I really appreciate that first question live, and I'm glad we got the computer set up to do it today. And Manny, you're my hero. And I hope a lot more of you think of doing it. I see we currently have a whopping 3 viewers, and one of them is probably my ex-girlfriend. But, and I'm very sorry about that. But I want to talk to and with the people I represent because I believe in a representative democracy. I believe it's important to hear all the views, and it's going to be hard for me to manage a lot of you, but I promise to be very active. I wanted to talk about something else today, which is, they keep telling me they can't write about me in the paper because they have to give equal access. Well, there are 2 articles in the paper today about Mike Turner and none about me. There was one last Friday as well. So today he took credit for a bill to make sure that when you have a security clearance in the military and you transfer to the civilian world, you can keep your security clearance. This is to help the people who donate to him, like General Dynamics and Boeing, who don't want to have to pay to do a clearance again. Thank you, Mike. You've made it all so much better for us. And then there was something else about the base and how he's doing this or that to save the base, as if he is the only one who can make sure that things get funded out there. No, that's not true either. Trust me. Military stuff that needs to be funded, we can do that. Oh, I remember he was talking about funding another child care center at the base. How about child care centers for children who are poor? How about child care for every working parent so that they can have their kids and keep making a living and not have food insecurity in this country, which 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 6 people have? How about that, Mike? How about doing that instead of spending $54 billion in Ukraine after you spent $3 trillion in Iraq and Afghanistan? So, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I really appreciate Manny G, and I'm going to keep this up. I'll be here again tomorrow at 4, same bat time, same bat channel. I thank you as a friend for watching. I'm sorry we had some problems with the audio at the beginning. Like I said, new guy behind the board. I'm David Esrati. I want to be your congressman. I want to communicate with you daily, and I want an F from the NRA. The NRA is a terrorist organization, and we can do better because people with guns do stupid shit. They don't save us. They do stupid shit. Especially when it's one of these. This is not something you need in your life unless you are in a war. I'm a veteran. I'm a small business owner. I'm an activist. My name's David Esrati. Learn more at electisrati.com, and thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.